Hi, it's Michelle Haywood here. I'm one of the candidates for the constituency of Rushen this year in the general election, and I've got a list of questions from the Isle of Man Chamber of Commerce think tank that have been sent to all the election candidates. So question 1 about supporting business if elected to ensure that the challenge of recruiting people into businesses is met. I think there is a big scope for increasing vocational training and looking at the technical levels, which would certainly support software industry. I think there is more business input that's needed to school leaders on the skills requirements that they have, and that should help direct some of the decisions that are made about the curriculum and about the choices that students take, both for year 10 and running into GCSEs, and also then for their A-levels or further studies at year 12 and 13. Question 2, businesses had concerns about excessive regulations. I think it's almost impossible to avoid the impact of international regulation creeping in on us, but what the government here has the role of doing is to find the least burdensome route and to try and help businesses navigate their way through those concerns. Question 3, asked to rank the top 3 considerations that are most important to their business are that government should be listening to business concerns. I'd like to think that if I was elected, I would manage to attend the business networking events and build good relationships with other businesses. Running a small business myself, I'm already connected with quite a few businesses. I support the Department for Enterprise in their working groups, and I think that they need to build close links with business. Question 4, as part of the new administration, how do you ensure that businesses that need assistance are supported as they recover from COVID-19? I think the effects here have actually been hardest on some of the small businesses. I don't believe that when COVID broke out on the island that government really understood the level of small businesses that were in operation. So we had the weird example that the initial grant system was age limited, and there were several people who had retired from their main job and then set up small businesses that they were successfully making a living from post-retirement, but they were banned from getting support initially. I think there needs to be a flexible approach to support. Businesses will have to apply for it, but I think the forms need to be easier to administrate as well. They've become rather cumbersome in how they're framed, and the level of explanation that goes with those forms is often very difficult for people to access. Question 5, steps taken to ensure that economic opportunities like Brexit can be utilised and positively affect more businesses. I think I disagree that there are many economic opportunities from Brexit. As a small business owner myself, Brexit has been an unmitigated disaster for our business. It has ensured that we have longer delivery times, it's ensured that there's more paperwork, there's increased cost to our customers as a consequence. And actually I think what government needs to do here is trying to mitigate those negative things. I'm not sure I can see many positives in cutting ourselves off from one of our biggest neighbouring markets. And certainly the restrictions on travel and the restrictions on free trade have been well beyond anything that we could have worried about. I'm astonished still that this wasn't clear to people when they were voting. And I know that there wasn't a vote here on the Isle of Man. However, I'm not sure what anyone believed they were going to get. There were promises that we'd stay in the single market, and they were clearly broken. The business effect of this is huge, and the ramifications will carry on for many years. So I believe the Isle of Man government has to do their best to try and smooth the way through. And if that means setting up local accounts with companies that are importing goods so that they can be sped through the VAT collection. I pay VAT on my business every quarter, and I've been doing that for years, and there are some times where the government owes me some money, and there are some times where I owe the government some money. Why that import charges can't necessarily go onto that account and be settled at the end of a quarter, it beats me. Question 6, a clear desire from the business sector to engage in energy efficient practices and look at renewable sources. Power generation is a national problem. We have ageing power plants, and we need to address what we are going to do literally to keep the lights turned on. So that national issue is being worked on. The climate change team have done a considerable amount of work preparing papers for that, and they will be submitted early autumn to Tynwald for decisions. So I believe that that's already in hand, and it's not necessarily a business driven thing, but it will be a government led change that will happen. I think that businesses could be supported with a series of loans to assist with the necessary transition away from fossil fuels. So for those businesses where heating, etc., is provided by either gas or oil, that there would be some assistance towards switching those away and towards insulation and other measures that we need to reduce energy use in those buildings. Question 7, how do I propose to support and enthuse businesses to sign up to the Biosphere Pledge? I think this is a misunderstanding of what Biosphere means. Biosphere wasn't just about climate change and the environment, it was about people and culture as well. It was about recognising all of those aspects of the Isle of Man. I actually think that business leaders understand the need to change, and I think that they understand the need to make changes within their businesses that will reduce their impact and reduce their CO2 emissions. And I don't think they need to sign up to a Biosphere Pledge to do that. In some cases, I think that's been window dressing rather than positive action being taken. And the leaders that I know within business are actually taking those changes for themselves anyway and have already acted. So I'm not sure that signing up to a pledge would make much difference to what's going to happen there. Question 8, on diversifying the economy was ranked as an important area for businesses, but they were facing recruitment issues. How would we maintain a diverse economy? The diverse economy is already here. There are over 20 sectors that are supported by the Department for Enterprise. Graduate return, however, is a long-term prospect. I don't think that graduates necessarily want to come back to the island straight away. And in some ways, we should encourage that. We should encourage the go and work, get some experience, and then bring that experience and those skills back to the island. I think that graduate return is more likely over a period of 8 to 10 years after they've graduated. And so sitting there 6 months or a year or 2 years after somebody's graduated, when they might have got their first job and be working away at it and wringing your hands about the graduates not coming back, isn't really helping. I think those graduates will return, and we could possibly do more to attract them back in the future. I think we need to address school qualifications and provide routes to the skills that employers actually need, things like the technical levels that I spoke about. In order to attract new talent, obviously companies can do various steps like helping with relocation expenses and stuff like that. But the island is an expensive place to live, and I think we have to recognise that if we want newly qualified graduates to return, we are going to have to provide housing and suitable opportunities for them to do that. And that comes within the remit of other spheres of government. Thank you very much for the opportunity to answer these questions, and if anyone would like to get in touch with me, you can go to my website page, which is michellehaywood.com. Thank you. Bye.